Well, we work with a lot of manufacturing companies, and we find that the biggest problem they have is the way that they improve their process. And what we do at Geneo is we're looking to find a standard for standards, a way of making sure that the way you do something is the same for everyone. Because without that, you can't improve. You need to know. And it's a real challenge to change the way that the NHS looks at standardisation. And the reason, I suppose, for that is because there's all these systems in place already, the ways of doing things, and they've lots of documentation. But the real opportunity, I think, is that you can open the content generation up to a much wider audience, all of the workforce on the coalface, and get them involved in the process of writing documentation. And what that allows you to do is to tip the triangle, as we would say, and you empower a lot more people to be involved in that process. And in so doing, that allows you to create a lot more content, a lot more relevant content, and in so doing, making sure that everybody feels engaged in that process. So an example of how Geneo's trying to help solve some problems in the health services, that in Cheshire, for example, they're using a GP referral portal that we've created for them that allows them to upload content, and so that people, all the GPs looking at that content, know that it's the most up-to-date content. And what that has done is it has exposed that there are areas where perhaps some content is missing, but that's a good thing, right? Because that allows us to make sure that every area that needs to be covered is covered. So sometimes to make improvement, you've got to actually see the bits you don't want to see, and we've helped to do that in the NHS. The key to the success of the product that we're offering is that a lot of people are allowed to get involved in that process. So for example, in the GP referral portal that we've done for Cheshire, anybody viewing the content can actually add an idea or a correction or an improvement against that content. And when that content is then reauthorized, those improvement ideas can be incorporated into the revision, so that everybody looking at the information can now see why it's changed and who actually has made the contribution to make it better. And that makes everybody feel like they're part of the process. So when I think about bridging the gap, I think there's a few different ways of looking at that. One of the gaps is that when you introduce new technology, that doesn't necessarily mean that the old way of doing things has changed, because sometimes it's a big monolith that has to be moved. For example, we have digital sign-off, and perhaps a lot of the decision-making that's being done on document content is being done in committee. So there's no reason why, if that digital sign-off is robust, that actually it couldn't be done that way. Another way that I think the bridging the gap needs to be addressed, certainly in our experience, is just exposure to more opportunities. It's really hard. You come to events like this, which are great, and it's really good that they're put on. Thank you, Innovation Agency. But actually, one of the things about it is you still need to get in front of people that are prepared to take a bit of a punt on it. Now, we have a real-world validation exercise underway at the moment, but even so, it's still hard to find participants that want to get involved in that, even when the funding isn't necessary from our side, even when we're offering that for free. So I think the two areas that we need to really see a bit of change and narrowing of that gap is, one is just being a bit more open to how new technologies can help, and the second one is just trying to get those forums going a bit more so that we can actually offer support to people that are needing help in different areas.